Joining us now, the president and CEO of the NAACP, Derrick Johnson. It's great to have you on the show this morning. So talk about the history of this campaign and also what's at stake.
Well, I'm glad to hear that ad. Messages of hope is what we need. We choose freedom as a positive, forward-looking message. That's really important. And we're talking about an individual who is the most qualified person on the ballot. In 2020, the American public chose to look forward, not backwards. They chose to create a society that was more inclusive, and Kamala Harris was a part of that ballot. You know, and I'm also proud to know that she's a person who can live in her identity and not allows others to be uncomfortable because of her identity. That's what we should celebrate as Americans. And as NAACP, we're nonpartisan, we don't endorse, but we also recognize that our fight to put out hate is one that's directly tied to the choices that we make in November, because the rise in hate we've seen under the past administration was a threat not only to the African-American community, it was a threat to all Americans, the Jewish community, the Latino community, all across the board. So we choose freedom is a forward-looking message, and I'm glad they landed on a hope message and not a fear message.
Good morning, Derrick. This is Eddie Glaude. Good to see you. Let me ask you a two-part question. One is, how will she address black men as voters, since we were talking about, at least some of the poll data showed that black men were, a larger percentage of black men were leaning towards Donald Trump? And two, what does the campaign need to do in order to really get that record turnout that could literally change the electoral map if we think that we can get those numbers going back to 2008?
Well, I have never seen any poll that shows black men leaning towards Donald Trump. I have seen black men want to keep their voices heard. I do understand the concern of black men. I happen to be one. And so it is important for that her campaign talk about how African Americans, how black men, how Americans will be empowered, how they will be included. You know, Project 2025 is the real signal here. It goes beyond the people, goes to the policies. And the policies we should be concerned about are, will we have an American that recognizes all of us and our uniqueness and our genius, or will we have a country that continue to otherize certain parts of this, certain parts of the population? I think she understands, because she's been seen as an other. But in fact, she should be seen as a part of our uniqueness, a part of our genius, because what she brings to the table is the type of insight we need in a leader of this nation.
Mr. Johnson, what do you do? What does the NAACP do? What do we all do to fix ourselves, to restrain ourselves from combating the wildfire of racism and sexism that will surely arrive in this campaign, much of it aimed at the vice president?
Well, we all have to look in the same direction towards hope. We have to also give one another a little room to appreciate our uniqueness, our difference. That's what is making our country great, despite all the fear-mongering that we have seen. You know, you can recall there was a week of terror in this country under the past administration. A Walmart was attacked, the Latino communities in a mass shooting. A few days later, a Kroger attack in Louisville, Kentucky, targeting the African-American community. The very next day, a synagogue in Pittsburgh, mass shooting. We should not be looking to go backwards. That only happened because you had someone in the White House who gave license to a level of hatred, and people carried it out. We need a leader that brings us together, give messages of hope, and lead into the public policies that solve the problems and really have an inclusive society. Project 2025 takes us away from that. And what this campaign should represent is a way for us to come together and continue to be a leading nation.